Good day, and welcome to the Phono Cave. What's that, you say? Is that a red HMV 102? Well, you might be right. But as a matter of fact, you're very wrong. This is a Russian copy of an HMV 102. How these things came to be is that Minister of Foreign Affairs of Britain in the 1930s, Winston Churchill, came to Russia to have a visit with Mr. Stalin. As a present to Stalin, he brought a portable HMV gramophone, namely the 102. Stalin was so impressed with this gramophone that he wanted everybody to have one. And that's why a hell of a lot of gramophone factories in the USSR started manufacturing these. So you see the same type of portable in many, many colors, made by many, many brands. And some factories even went further, that they kind of went fantasy on the subject. They used the type of sound box and the type of motor that was in the 102, but they put it in a smaller portable with a foldable horn inside. And there are other versions of that thing as well. Anyway, this is the Russian copy of the HMV 102. And as you expect, it's not as good as the HMV 102. If you would look at the motor, which is inside, the HMV 102 would have a wonderfully nickel-plated everything about this motor. And this have a nickel-plated, well, nothing is nickel-plated inside except for the bearings, the balls on the governor. But for the rest, it's tar-coated brass. Yes, that's exactly what it is. Tar-coated brass. Can it go any cheaper? Under the motorboard, which is here, the connection between the motor and the motorboard is there are 4 metal studs under the motorboard, in between the motorboard and the motor. With this, those weren't there. Those were never there. Instead, there were thick rubber rings, which would of course shrink, and then the bed plate of the motor would touch the automatic brake. So, what to do? Screw it tighter, and after a while, the plateau was about a centimeter high above the edge of the portable. Not where you wanted to be, of course. Well, I had some original HMV 102 studs for this motor, so I replaced those, and now the motor is pretty much level on the way it should be. And I think it's time to have a listen. Release the brake. perfect. The auto brake works as well. I didn't know that yet. Well, the problem with these copies is that, well, like I said before, it's the same build-up, so it's practically the same motor as the original HMV 102, with this problem that it's also not. Namely, the materials it's made of are inferior to that what HMV would use. And for instance, making this thing run up to the right speed with the HMV 102, that normally isn't really a problem. It's, you know, you adjust the some screws of this thing over here, which has a lever over there that pushes another lever that goes into the friction pads, goes to the friction pads of the governor. With this, it wasn't constructed very well. You know, everything would slide a bit, and you needed to readjust, and so, yeah, difficult. So the motor would either, at the slowest point, it would stop completely, or every other speed after the beginning would be totally Smurfs, or Alvin and Chipmunks if you live in the USA. So, and that basically shows that it's not an HMV 102, and that there's a lot of fiddly stuff going on there that really doesn't belong with the HMV 102. Also, some of the connections are, you know, I had to really push this thing in, and it's not very nice spring metal. It doesn't keep its shape, and I'm afraid that eventually it will break. But you know, we like crappy things in the Phono Cave, and this is a crappy thing that is actually very good. Because other from the quirks that it has, if you fix the quirks, it's basically just as well as the HMV 102. So, at that note, I think I'm going to end this video. Well, I hope you like this video, like and subscribe, and until the next time, goodbye.